Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Be Me Global, a safe place where you can authentically keep it real and be yourself. Today, our special guest will continue to take us on a journey in sharing how they overcame some of the most challenging moments in their lives. So I'm going to hover a little bit with the your father, you and your father. So we know that you visit, but was there true exchanges of intimacy, or was it just a holding place? And we're just acting. Okay, you're my father. Share with me what that was like. Because you said I still don't quite know my father well.
No.
So that's why I'm going back. Like,
I believe he felt like he was opening up to us, like introducing us to family and telling us like what he did as a kid. It was always the highlights, though.
Okay.
It wasn't ever the like, oh, this happened to me as a kid. I'm this way because, or I do this because.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not in your life because.
Well, he would apologize.
Okay.
But I don't really know that I received it.
Okay.
Because again, I would leave. So it wasn't like he was consistently in our lives like daily.
Okay.
And so it was like I only recall 2 summers of visits. And it was only like a couple of weeks, like maybe 2.
Okay.
And not consecutive weeks. And so, because I would go stay with my grandparents and then go to his house for a week and then go back to my grandparents and then go back.
Okay.
Then the time that we had to, visit.
Okay.
In the summers. And so I don't believe that there was I knew that there was a loss, a feeling of loss there. So
was there any bitterness that was happening?
I believe so. Okay. Yes. Okay. Because I believe that it showed up more the closer the older I got.
Okay.
Yes. Because whenever I would get in a relationship, I believe from me reading when I was young, I read a lot of romance novels. I had this picturesque thing in my head about how you would eventually get with someone and that would be it. And you would be married and, you'd have a family. So whenever a relationship would end, that's just what it felt like again. Like, okay, what's wrong with me? What did I do? Why didn't they like me?
Okay, so I'm hearing something else there. So with these multiple experiences, it looks like you began to say you went inward, like there's a problem within. Okay,
I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't fun enough, or because I was always the kid that people didn't want to be around because I was always called like mom. I always wanted everybody to do what was right. So I was always called like mom. Oh, you act like a mom.
So are we in high school yet?
That's middle on up.
That's middle on up. Okay.
So yeah, by the time I got to high school, it was really bad.
Yeah.
The confidence was very lacking.
And so, so what I'm hearing, with every experience, at least after multiple experience, you began to assess internally the problems with me, me. I'd like to hear about what choices and actions and decisions as you're getting in high school now. What was happening? Because now you're thinking it's you.
Yes. So not knowing the buildup of what happened to me as a kid, that all these things I viewed as negative um happening to me was creating kind of a monster on the inside.
Mm.
Like I was just full of self-loathing, just even when I had most of the people around me always praised me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially after I got out of the abusive living situation.
Mm-hmm.
My family, they always looked at me as the smart one, so they always left me responsible for others. When we had to stay at home by ourselves or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I was always the one that had to look out for everybody
Okay. So you just
because
from
they knew I would do the
what was
right
right.
thing. Yes, so.
Yeah. So you were even put in that role at a young
Hmm.
age.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I never felt smart. I never felt um, strong enough to watch out for other people.
But yet you continue to be put in that role,
Hmm.
just
Yes,
from a
I
family
was
perspective.
always, and that's another space I believe fear was there
Mm.
too, because I was always scared, even though um, I never like revealed that. I was always scared to be responsible for other people.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always felt like if something happened, what would I do? And or like how would I, get dealt with basically if
Mm.
something did happen? Like it would be all on me. Like
Okay.
I
So.
felt like people always thought I knew things I didn't think I knew.
Mm.
Like I didn't probably even know how to call 911 or those kind of things that I
Mm.
know as an adult, obviously. But as a kid, I'm thinking I'm not an adult. Like I'm not this or that. Like I'm not smart enough to to take
Mm.
care of some kids.
Mm.
And
So
and
so
why is
it
me? It was always like why me? Why me?
yeah. So now we got what I'm hearing there. It was not only it starts with what's wrong with me.
Hmm.
Now I see how you're building layers internally, like
Hmm.
you called it this monster.
Hmm.
I can't do that. I'm not smart enough.
Hmm. And why
Um,
don't I have a choice?
yeah, you felt like I just need to do what I'm told, but I
Hmm.
don't have a choice to think outside of what I'm being told.
Hmm.
Don't have a choice to just be outside the box and unleash who I am.
Hmm.
So we got some identity issues because
Hmm.
you're fitting into whoever's box,
Hmm.
be it family, be it friends.
Hmm.
Um, you're at school, you're fitting into these boxes, and
Hmm.
that's where I kind of want because I think I'm sure that our listeners have experienced
Hmm.
rejection and abandonment,
Hmm.
and they may have experienced it as young as the age
Hmm.
as you are. They could have experienced it in a little older,
Hmm.
but whatever that range is of their experiences, it's important to know that that's having an internal impact.
Hmm. Hmm.
And now that you're kind of starting to just kind of reveal
Hmm.
this was my experience at these ages, and now
Hmm.
this is how I think about myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is how I'm looking at myself. These are the questions. These are the things I tell myself.
Hmm.
Why me?
Hmm.
Why y'all even choosing me?
Hmm.
I don't know what to do here.
Hmm.
Why y'all making me responsible for this?
Yeah.
If something happened, I really don't know what to do, but yet
Hmm.
y'all keep choosing me. And
Hmm.
because I follow the rules and because, you know, I'm connected to a situation that's telling me what to do, I don't feel like I can even use my voice.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
that's
And
that's an oof.
yeah. So I started I like hearing positive words like smart. It was like they just bounced, like, oh,
Off
you're so
like
smart and you're so responsible and all those things. It just didn't feel like me internally. I didn't ever feel smart. I always felt like I struggled in school because I had to work so hard to get the grades I got.
mhm.
And and then I already didn't fit in anywhere because I always wanted to try to do good in school, and um, there wasn't many people around me that was their focus. So I never really um, felt like I fit in, even though I had people around me. So
Okay.
and then I had a family member that I grew up with that I always felt compared to. So that's another reason I believe that I always looked internal to the reason why I was getting rejection. Like I wasn't as pretty, even though I was always told I was smart, but I wasn't as pretty.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting on this because I think our audience, as you are sharing that story, I'm sure there's going to be a connection with many people that are listening out there. Um, I'm just seeing the layers,
Mm,
the rejection, the abandonment, the fear, the bitterness, and the fear pretty much muted you.
mm,
Because how dare you say, well, this is what I feel? How
mhm,
dare you say, this is what I want to do? How
mhm,
dare you say, I don't want to do that?
mhm, mhm,
Wow, that's a different type of, for lack of a better word, or that may be of just kind of chains and bondage. That's a different kind of what I'm going to say. Today the buzzword across in our country and across every continent across the world, mental health is a buzzword right now.
mhm,
And I think sometimes humanity may look at mental health in a very specific way,
mhm,
where really mental health is much broader.
mhm,
And even as you sharing this story,
mhm.
there was some mental
Mental
health
health
issues happening
issues.
inside of you
Mhm.
that at the time when you were growing up, mental health was not
Was
even a
not,
word thought of,
yeah.
but and so that's what we're trying to bring. That's what I think your story is helping bring to our community, is try to help our community really do introspect as individuals,
Mhm,
as sisterhood,
mhm,
brotherhood, as a family, and really know that mental health is something that is not the brand new buzzword. This is something that has existed
existed
for
for a long
centuries,
time.
for a long
Mhm,
time, and it was going unaddressed in our culture. It was
mhm,
going unaddressed within
mhm,
individuals, within
mhm.
family, and it didn't matter what race, color, nationality you are. Um, at the end of the day, we're one human race, and mental health issues could be in whatever nationality.
Mhm,
It
mhm,
does not discriminate.
mhm.
I'll just put it like that.
Exactly.
It doesn't discriminate. We as a family, we are born into situations that our family members or our parents was born into situations. And I
Mhm,
think what your story is going to help us detect is the cycle that is happening, that is going unbroken.
mhm,
And how do we, like you said, tear down the walls of
mhm,
rejection and abandonment when I
mhm,
don't even know what to name it? I'm in third grade.
mhm,
I don't even know what to name it. I just know something is happening in my domain, in my
mhm,
environment,
mhm,
um, and I need help. So I need family. I need friends. I need people to help me navigate what's happening in my environment, and that's what we're coming to do
mhm,
on this show. Is find people who have gone through some real stuff,
mhm,
um, found how to navigate,
mhm,
found how to be healed,
mhm,
found how to forgive and not even blame
mhm,
another person,
mhm.
because we don't know if those people were also abused,
Abused,
or
exactly.
and they're just introducing their abuse to you,
Mhm,
um, and then find out how to really just really be free.
mhm.
I hope I'm doing a good job trying to summarize what
Oh,
you're saying.
definitely.
I'm really trying to be a good listener and summarize it. Tell us a little bit more, we really need to, I really appreciate your transparency in the things that you're sharing, but
Mhm.
tell us a little more. I don't know if you're quite ready to move into this forgiveness and healing, but just kind of tell us a little bit more. You're in high school now, or you're
Mhm.
transitioning to adulthood, going to college.
Mhm.
Continue to take us on the journey, because you're
So, when I by the time I reached high school, um, after the being bullied and all that in middle school, um, it was still hard to make friends, even though I had a good friend, and I was mostly just with family that was my age, and it was still that same situation where I still didn't want to do the stuff they wanted to do. I'm always
Mhm.
still trying not to get in trouble. And so I was just really into my schoolwork.
Okay.
And so social situations were always awkward for me. Like I
Mm.
tried my best to like avoid any kind of school dances and things like that.
Mm.
I did attend some, but it was always if other people are going, I would never like try to have a date or
Okay.
go.
You would go in a group.
And yes, at
Okay.
least up until later in high school for sure. And because then again didn't feel pretty. So it never seemed like there was any guys that liked me in my schools.
Right.
Even the quote unquote boyfriends I had before, they were never boys from my schools. It was always like
Okay.
um boys from like the churches I would attend.
Okay.
And so that's why I was always like phone relationships basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got to high school, I believe the first time I actually had a um, interest. I had a crush on somebody for a long time, but that boy was never like, never ended up liking me. Always had different girlfriends. But
Okay.
the first time I actually felt like I had a boyfriend,
Mhm.
I was probably um, around 17 because I always wanted to go on a date. So I always, used to hear my friends, saying, "Oh, you know, such and such picked me up, or I drove and picked up."
Okay.
Because
So
at
yeah.
that time I couldn't drive myself, so it was always like I wanted somebody to come sweep me up and take me out of this living situation I had, single mom, always broke,
Right.
never could
Right.
do much outside the school. if
And
you
this
if
was
you're
your
not
environment with
mhm
your mom. Okay. So a first official boyfriend,
mhm
17,
in my mind,
in your mind.
because it was also a phone relationship
Okay.
until that person decided to pick me up. And so I'm thinking I'm going on a date, but that's not what happened. I ended up, losing my virginity, and it was not in the best circumstances. And so afterwards,
So wait,
basically,
I know this may be kind of
mm,
tough, because you're really, bearing all,
mm,
to an extent.
mm,
Um, I want to understand that situation. Was it we're going to get something to eat, but we didn't do that, and he was forced upon you, or was it
no,
okay?
it was kind of like we're going to an event, but I want to stop by my house.
Okay.
My parents aren't home,
Okay.
but
Okay.
that's not what I was expecting. So I don't know. I can't remember the relationship and what was said in the relationship. I don't even know. I can't even remember if the person knew I was a virgin or not.
Yeah.
It,
We're just saying
I
boyfriend one.
believe the
Or,
yeah
yeah.
boyfriend one.
And so when
Well,
go
I
ahead.
would say yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna because in your mind it was boyfriend one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So boyfriend one, this thing happened. Did y'all continue on with the planned activity? Or
Yes,
okay.
afterwards. Yes.
Okay.
And then so obviously I participated because I was like, I want to get home.
Okay.
And I felt like I didn't have a choice. So
you didn't want to, but you participated because you needed to make sure you got back home. Once again, not using your voice.
Even though deep down I knew I wanted to wait till I got married. Because, you know, at this time I'm still going to church. That's the only place I really feel comfortable. And but
so this
happened. I didn't have the inner strength to say no or to get myself out of the situation. Okay. So that was just one more thing to add to the abandonment and rejection.
Did you see this bitterness. Boy one after that? So now there you go.
We broke up.
Yeah, abandonment and rejection. That's another layer. That's continuing to build internally. Okay, it's happening externally, but internally, I think what's important for us to know is that when we experience these traumatic experiences, you know, the way the human being is built, the human mind is built, it's always looking to reconcile experiences. It's really important that the human mind is going to want to reconcile those experiences. It's going to be fight or flight, right? And if you're not fighting, you're taking flight, and you're harboring internally somewhere because you keep taking flight, you keep taking flight, you keep taking flight. But those things are being compartmentalized inside of you. So it may help you cope to keep taking flight, but one day you're going to have to deal with all these compartments. So you're in church. You had this experience. Keep taking us on the journey.
So I remember being like sad for the longest time. So of course,
this is still high school?
Or? Yes, still high school.
So depression. That sadness is depression.
Yes. And just wanting to have someone, you know, I believe even when I had the middle school relationships, it was just wanting to have someone that like me for me.
Okay.
And so I was just always trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Why, you know, that this person not want to stay with me. Well, I still wasn't pretty enough. I still wasn't lovable in my mind. At the time, I didn't know that I had issues with abandonment because I had never really assessed my relationship with my dad or the things that happened to me as a kid. And so I would just stay in that negativity.
Right.
And I didn't even know that
and blaming yourself, internal sabotage. Look, and it seems like as you're taking the journey, I don't want to put words in your mouth, you know, as you're moving along post this first boy one, but you wanted someone present. So that could have led to some decisions because you want someone present while you're still dealing with all this internal stuff.
So anybody afterward that would show attention, I'm thinking, okay, here's my chance, you know, like here's my chance for a real relationship. And always just thought I was supposed to find somebody, not find me.
Yes.
And so anytime anybody showed any interest after that, which ended up being a short period of time before I met my now husband, but there was a short period of time where I got caught up again in situations where I felt like I didn't have a choice, so I had to have sex.
Okay. And then rejection and abandonment. So after those events,
and those events weren't even technically relationships because the event would happen and then I wouldn't even hear from the person. So
you have those layers.
So
Wow.
by the time I met my husband, my senior year,
This is high school or college?
of high school.
Okay, so let's go to that, please.
I was a mess and didn't know it internally.
And I'm recalling what you said. I had bitterness towards men. Okay, so now we meet potential hubby. Because let's just call him what you want to say, boy number 4, boy number 5.
I don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know the numbers, but now senior year high school, I meet potential hubby. Take us on the journey.
So, I met my husband, and the fact that we went to the same school was amazing to me, you know, because nobody from elementary up was ever interested in me at school.
Okay.
Like I may have met like one guy that was, and that was just because this person may have moved in town and then moved out real quick, you know. So just somebody going to the same school as me that liked me was like amazing, because I always thought, you know, it was always interested in guys, but nobody ever really showed an interest. And so I always wanted to have a boyfriend like everybody else.
so this time you weren't finding him, he found you?
Basically, a friend of his introduced us.
Okay. Okay. And you were still a hot mess, he didn't know.
Yeah, I was a hot mess. I didn't even know I was a hot mess. Right. I'm thinking I'm getting good grades, I'm playing softball.
Okay.
And so yes, by the time I met my husband, we were together for a short period of time and then we broke up.
Okay, this is still in high school.
Okay. So I was like, oh, see you talk to him again. I was still in that same mode. After you break up from me, I don't want to talk to you, see you, anything. That was my defensive mechanism of dealing with breakups. So just throw up another wall. And so it was always hard to even see somebody or talk to anybody that ended a relationship with me. And so I was always wondering what I did and what was wrong with me again.
Yeah, that's good for you to insert that. That when the breakup happened, you go back into internal assessment, and it's all about what you didn't do, what you did wrong.
You're never looking at the other person, never thinking, oh, I wasn't treated right, or it was always like, what did you do? You know. So then by the end of the school year, we ended up getting back together. It was the first person I ever got back in the relationship with that I broke up with. I
need to understand how you broke your cycle, because that's a breaking up a cycle. Because it was like once we break up, it's done. You don't ever get another chance.
Yes.
So give us a little peek. Why was he good looking, girl? Was he?
Yes. Well, what happened was he got a hold of my memory book, like, because it was, you know, we were about to graduate.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a memory book, and friends of his passed it around to him, and he asked for it. And so he ended up filling out a whole page and then contacting me that way. And then all of a sudden we just back together.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And we've been together ever since.
So you can't get off that easy. So y'all got back together right before graduation. Okay, and then now, is there a college section you're gonna take me through?
Okay, so when we got back together, we were both entering college. Okay. We ended up moving in together because, you know, we both had single moms, so we just had to find a way to pay for college. So we were started basically both started community college.
Okay.
Um, I started like out of high school, but we were both working at the same time.
Same community college or
Yes,
okay.
yes. So we basically were living like adults, but we didn't even understand how to be adults, in my opinion,
Okay.
because we were working and going to school. I was going full time. I don't necessarily remember his schedule, but we were basically living together
Mm-hmm.
and just working to pay the bills
Mm-hmm. And going to
and
school.
going to school.
Okay.
And so we eventually get married.
Mm-hmm. I hope you're taking a liking to our special guest story. Over the next 4 weeks, our special guest will continue to take us on a journey sharing some of the darkest and most challenging moments encountered over the course of their lives. Be on the lookout for weekly drops every Thursday, and remember, Beamy Global is a safe place where you can authentically keep it real and be yourself.